whether you know what you are wanting or not consciously is not as important as it might seem, because the source within you knows what you are wanting and is on it. In other words, you just can't live life without, at many levels of your being, clarifying what your desires are. And with each clarification, when you know what you don't want, you know more clearly what you do want. In fact, it's not possible to focus upon anything without discerning how you feel about it. You just cannot help but have that relationship experience with whatever has your attention. So when you are here in your physical bodies, focused upon something that you recognize or don't recognize consciously, but at some level realize that it could be better, to the exact proportion of what you do not want, a corresponding impression of what you do want is launched vibrationally. It's just part of the process of focusing. We like the word focusing that Esther finds in this application, because you are source energy focused in a physical body. And everything that exists is because of perceiving, because of focusing. So while you are here in your physical bodies, we know that you come together and you describe to one another what you see, and you spend a lot of time not just in your current experience, contemporary time, but in all that has been historically before you. You've been sifting through the data as humans upon this planet of life experience, and individually, collectively too, but without the individual focus, there is no collection of anything. Individually coming to your perspectives of what would be an improvement for you now. Now, the non-physical part of you still exists even though you are in this physical body. Do you know this? It's not dead or alive as in non-physical or physical. You are an eternal being, and the larger part of you, far and away, far and away, the larger part of you remains as non-physical source energy. But a part of that, which is you, non-physical source energy, has focused itself into this personality that you know as you for a very important, desired experience from non-physical. In other words, you just didn't blunder into it. From the non-physical perspective, you said and meant, I would like to send a part of my perspective forward. I will don a personality and I will explore contrast out on the leading edge of thought. And as I explore this leading edge contrast, from that personality, from that important vantage point, I will, or that part of me that I call I will come to clear conclusions about what? About what would be an improved experience for me. So, non-physical energy, a part of you comes forth, you explore contrast, and by knowing what you don't want, you know more clearly what you do want, and so on. You decipher from the reality that you are observing, perceiving, your preferences. Now, many of you, even as you hear us speak this here today, you don't understand the importance of that, mostly because you don't understand the eternalness of your beingness. But when you are able to step back and get a glimpse or a piece of memory about the eternalness of your beingness, then you must begin to realize that as this eternal being, there cannot be eternity without new choices and without expansion. And so that's why you have come forth. You didn't come because a world is broken and it needs to be fixed. And you didn't come because a larger part of that which you call source or God is already perfect and complete, and this is your method of catching up with that. You are that perfect, incomplete source energy who has come forth to explore and to expand, and most of all, to live the joyous experience of the expansion. And so here you are exploring and doing just what you knew you would do, because you can't help it. You can't help but be here. You can't help but be aware. And in your awareness, you cannot help but come to your personal conclusions, because all of us, whether we are non-physical or physically focused, have our vantage point that is the point of self. And built into all of us is a realization of the eternalness of that which we are, and a unique individual preference about what would be better from our point of view. What would be better from our point of view? If you are rude to someone, you launch a rocket of desire that you would like to get along better. If you are not loving someone, you launch a rocket of desire that you would like to find more about them to love. If you are sick, you launch a rocket of desire that you would like to be more well. If you don't have enough money, you launch a rocket of desire that says, I would like more money. And even though we are putting very accurate words to these things, you are all day, every day launching rockets of desires about your point of view, which matters very, very much, and about what you think would be better from your vantage point. Now, many of you, not necessarily here in this room, but around the world, as you hear these words, while a part of you resonates with them because it comes forth from the very core of that which you are, many of you say, but my vantage point cannot be all of that much importance. And we want to convey to you in a way that maybe you can take a piece of this home with you today, that it is all important, because when you, in your unique physical, leading edge, time, space, reality, vantage point of view, when you stand there and life causes you to prefer something that is improved from where it is, the larger part of you then does what you knew that part of you would do when you came to a new conclusion of improvement. The larger part of you gives undivided attention to that improvement. And the universe has just expanded a bit more. Now, if you could step back with us and see your world as we see it, you would understand that everything that you see that is this knock on wood reality that you take so much credence in, you would understand that every part of this reality, before it became the manifested reality upon which you have so much collective agreement, it was an idea, it was energy, it was thought, it was vibration. It was vibration that was perceived, or a thought that was offered by someone. And as more thought was given to it, by the powerful law of attraction, it began to take shape and form until it has become the reality that you all know. So this Earth that is spinning in its orbit in perfect proximity to other planets, it was at one time an idea that many of you, from your non-physical vantage point, were in on the early ideas about and have added to continuously ever since. So we just want to put that in there so that you will not take lightly the importance of contrast causing you to ask for something. Because when contrast causes you to ask for something, the beginning of something more occurs. It is the conception of improved life experience. Now, even if you did not know that you were non-physical before you were physical, and even if you did not know that you will be this non-physical being eternally, and even if you did not know that when contrast causes you to ask for something, that the source part of you rides that rocket and becomes the vibrational equivalent of it, setting it up for what will be a future manifestation, even if you did not know any of that, even if you did not understand about law of attraction, which we will talk a great deal about here today, even if you did not know any of this, still you would be contributing mightily to the expansion of this universe just by your existence here in this contrasting environment. Because when you ask, it is given every single time. And just because you don't let yourself catch up with what you've asked for while you're still alive in this physical body does not mean that you do not catch up eventually when you croak, and that you do not have the expansion that you asked for when you croak. You don't have to wait till you croak, but many of you will. In other words, there are many humans who are having the contrasting experience just like you knew you would, are giving birth to all kinds of new rockets of desire just like you knew you would, are setting future generations up for a much improved life experience just like you knew you would. But for some crazy reason, you're holding yourself in vibrational discord to the very things that you're asking for, because you continue to justify how much you need or want that by pointing out how bad this is. And in the same way that you cannot set your radio dial on 6:30 a.m. and hear what's being broadcast on 98.7 FM, you cannot set your radio dial on, I don't have enough money, 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 and ever lay claim to the money that is stacked up for you. you should see it, in your vibrational escrow. Vibrational escrow. Can you hear vibrational escrow? Vibrational meaning it's preceding manifestation, as all things do. Escrow meaning it's yours. It's got your account number on it. It's being held for you. Nobody else is going to swoop in and get it. Nobody else can lay claim to it. It's yours, it's yours, it's yours, it's yours, it's yours. It's done, it's done, it's done, it's done. As all things are done vibrationally before they manifest, it's done, but you're not letting yourself move to where it is because you're holding yourself in vibrational discord by your awareness of what is. Now, what do we mean by that? Whatever you give your attention to, as you focus upon it, you activate within yourself a vibration. Many people accept the idea of thought. You know that there is much that happens in your mind that you don't necessarily speak out loud. Probably a really good thing. So you can feel the power of thought, and many of you are beginning to understand how much you convey through your thought without ever putting it into words. You must be beginning to understand that you are all telepathic beings that are communicating on an energy level, on a vibrational level, on a thought level, far more than you have ever imagined that you were. So much more of what's happening in your particular individual world is because of the thoughts you think than anything that you're doing or saying. You are creating by virtue of your focused thought, which activates vibration, which law of attraction responds to. But there's a bigger part of this story that we think most of you have forgotten. And if you can hear it and get it and believe it, at least hope it, then believe it, then know it, what's going to happen to you is you're going to begin to have manifestations show up right away of what's in your vibrational escrow. But even more than that, you're going to come into the visceral feeling, personal knowing of who you really are. You're going to get to know who you really are, not just the part of you that you've come to know in the personality that you recognize and that other people look at as you are moving around in your physical body. You are source energy. You are God force. You are creators. You are magnificent genius creators here for the purpose of taking thought beyond that which it has been before, and when thought goes beyond which it has been before, manifestation follows. And the evolution of all species is exactly about that. So, as we started to say a little bit ago, whether you know about law of attraction or not, whether you understand your reason for being here, the purpose and value of it, still, you're banging around in contrast, and still you're birthing all kinds of rockets of desires, and you are adding immeasurably to the expansion of this universe, whether you know you are or not. And the source energy part of you is reveling in the ideas that are produced from your synthesizing of life. Many of you aren't too keenly aware of the emotions that you have because you're just used to being ornery, which means you're just used to consistently beating the drum of things that consistently, chronically hold you far enough away from the things that you really want that you never really let them come in, at least not without a big ordeal or struggle. Oh, you get pretty good. You let some of them in. You work really hard. You hardly sleep. You give it everything you've got. It's like you take your canoe down to the river's edge and you would deliberately point it upstream and you begin paddling really, really hard. We say, there's a wonderful current and it's going that way. And you say, oh, but that would be so easy. Anybody could just let go of the oars and go that way. Where would be the diligence in that? Where would be the valiance in that? There's no reward in that. People don't get trophies for just floating downstream. That's what you tell us. And we want to say to you, yes, they do. The people who are succeeding in the way you call true success, those joyful beings who the things that they want are flowing to them effortlessly by your standards. They are those who have learned to let go of the oars and allow the current of the universe to take them to the manifestations. And the only reason, well, there are a few, but they all are based on the same premise. The reason that you don't let yourself flow easily is because you have, and it's not a bad thing. In fact, we'd even go so far as to say, don't blame yourself for it. You've got what is itis. You are so aware of what is that you don't let yourself go to where you'd rather be. What is has, in most cases, your undivided attention. You talk about what is, you talk about how you got to what is, you talk about whose fault it is that you are where what is. You explain how long you've been there, you explain that your mother was there too. You explain that almost everybody you know is there, you join online chat groups about it.